It had been a top-secret day. Katie discovered that if you have an exciting secret, it bubbles up inside of you. Orbie learned that sneaking wrapping paper out of the hall closet is a noisy task. And they both found out that making funny faces on cupcakes is a messy but delicious job. All day, Dad had been hinting about his birthday. All day, Mom kept telling Dad that this week was too busy. They would have to celebrate it next week. Katie and Orbie had to run out of the room and giggle because the secret that they were keeping was that they were planning a big surprise party for Dad. Katie almost gave it away when Dad was planning to have pizza for supper. But she didn't. Orbie almost gave it away when Dad decided that they should have a game of charades before bed. But he didn't. Shh! Keeping a secret was hard work and a lot of fun. It was Katie and Orbie's job to get Dad to go out of the house so that Mom could make his favorite cake and wrap the presents. They tried. First, Orbie asked Dad if he would take them to the library. Dad told Orbie that he just felt like staying home. Then Katie asked Dad if he would go for a nice long walk with her. Dad apologized to Katie and said he didn't feel like doing anything. Mom snuck Orbie and Katie into the kitchen and told them that she had a wonderful way of getting Dad out of the house. She would ask Mrs. Perrette, who knew about the surprise, to call Dad down to repair something. Katie and Orbie giggled. It was fun keeping a secret. Mom asked them to keep Dad in the living room while she phoned so that he wouldn't hear. When the two friends got to the living room, they realized that Mom didn't have to worry about Dad hearing much of anything. He was sound asleep on the couch. Mrs. Perrette loved the idea and agreed to call back in 20 minutes. Mom signaled to Katie and Orbie, and they all tiptoed upstairs. In the bedroom, Mom and Orbie blew up balloons, and Katie stuffed them in a garbage bag to hide them from Dad. Orbie blew one as big as he could. It got bigger and bigger, and suddenly, with a loud crack, it popped. Everybody jumped. Orbie shot straight up to the ceiling and stuck there. And Mom put her hand on her chest and gasped. Katie shrieked and hid behind the bag. When she looked out, everybody was quiet for a moment, and then they all laughed. Mom raised her hand to signal that everybody should be quiet. They stopped. Mom opened the door and listened. There was no sound coming from the living room. All three of them tiptoed down the stairs and checked on Dad. He was still sound asleep. Mom signaled to them that that was good, and they hurried up the stairs again. Soon the phone rang. Mom and Katie and Orbie looked at it, but nobody answered because they wanted Dad to get it. Mrs. Perrette was right on time. Well, the phone rang, and Dad slept and slept. Finally, Mom answered it. Mrs. Perrette asked for Dad, as she was supposed to. Mom explained that Dad hadn't even budged from his snooze. Mrs. Perrette had a terrific idea. Orbie could bring the cake batter down to her house, and she could bake it. They could get all the decorations ready, and then, if he woke up, Mom could send him down. He would never know the cake was for him if it was at her house. Everybody agreed that this was a good idea. Orbie put the batter in his wagon and pulled it down the street. Mom blew up the last few balloons. Katie drew a big happy face picture of Dad. And when they were finished, they tiptoed downstairs. Orbie raced in and almost slammed the door, but Mom caught it in time. When they peeked into the living room, Dad was still asleep on the couch. Now it was getting tricky, as Mom pointed out, because she had to cook the supper and set the table and decorate the room. Dad sleeping in the living room was very inconvenient. Katie and Orbie agreed. Then Mom whispered that they would get ready for the party all around Dad. No one would make a sound if they could help it. Mom put the supper on, while Katie put the placemats on the table. Orbie followed her with napkins. Next came the knives and the forks and the spoons. Katie dropped a spoon and it clinked against another. Everybody froze and looked over at Dad. Dad slept on. A few minutes later, Mom snuck in with the stepladder to put up the streamers. Orbie handed her the tape and Katie handed her the balloons. One piece of streamer fell right on Dad's nose. Everybody froze again. Dad didn't wake up, though. He just rubbed his nose and rolled over. Mom mouthed to Katie and Orbie that she couldn't believe he could sleep through all of this. But sleep he did. Soon all the decorations were up. Mrs. Perrette had baked and iced the cake and brought it back, and it was time for the party. The guests were walking up to the door. Shh! It was Katie and Orbie's job to tell them to be quiet because Dad was sleeping. Everybody crept in and stood around Dad. It was hard not to giggle. Then Mom tiptoed over and gave him a kiss on the cheek. Dad smiled and rolled over. He was very, very surprised to see all his friends standing there. And at that very same moment, everybody shouted, "Surprise!" Dad sat straight up. He looked around and saw the decorations and the beautiful table and all the presents in a pretty pile. He just couldn't believe it. Mostly he couldn't believe that his whole family had kept a secret so well. The party was great fun. Dad was at his silliest and all the guests laughed. When everybody left, Dad turned to his family and he told them that it had been the best birthday party he had ever had. They were very, very good at keeping a secret. And maybe one day you'll have to keep a secret about a surprise party. And I'm sure that you'll be very good at it too.
Did you know? No. Did you know? Did you know?
Corn plants grow cobs of corn with seeds called kernels. When the kernels get dry and brown, you can heat them up on the stove. And pop, 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 you get popcorn. Salt, anyone?